Chair Carlton Brooks, present. Vice Chair John Rufa, absent. Phyllis Katz, absent. Shanoy Rajara, absent. John Reardon, absent. Dennis Siebert, here. Sandy Rubin, here. And alternate Leslie Lettler. Here. We do have a quorum.
Okay. Motion to approve the minutes?
I'll second.
Is there a second?
Yes, I second.
Is there a second?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
You did a second. Discussion? Any discussion of the minutes?
None?
Yeah, where it says push right there. Here you go.
Oh, thank you. It's gonna be a long. Okay, I'm back in business. Thank you. Mhm. Second motion.
I'd like to make a comment, if I may.
Yes.
Sure.
I think the 60th anniversary was a big hit. It was a great turnout. It was a great party. And it went very well. And I'm glad to be been a part of it. Thank you.
Okay, discussion. Okay, thank you for your discussion. That was, your portion will be coming up a little later on, but thank you for doing it ahead of time. Appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it.
Any comments from the public?
Any comments? Oh, yeah, thank you. Any comments from the public? If none, we accept the minutes as read.
Yeah, now you want comments from members of the committee.
Oh, no, we gotta get comments.
I gave my comment.
Yes, that was your comment. Okay, okay, that was your comment. Any other comments?
I'd like to bring up one comment. I live in Counterpoint, and I brought it up to you before, Lou, about the one small pavilion at Home Place on the northeast corner. They used to have a small pavilion, and the kids.
Oh, the bus.
Yes.
where
What
they
I've
pick-
noticed is that this time of year, it's so dark, and there's still children, well, they're not children, teenagers, kids, and they're standing in the dark, and if it's raining, they're standing in the rain. Some of them with their parents, you know, they may have dropped off and the rain may have started. It gets better when the time changes,
Okay.
but it's definitely dark right there, and, you know, I think that that pavilion with a light would be safe, a safer place. I know that the one in front of the big lake there, around at the roundabout,
Okay.
has them. And just
All
want to
right.
bring it up
Yeah,
again.
I do remember that.
Yeah, there
Okay.
used to be one there.
Right.
And that's the only
Right.
reason I'm bringing it up. I think it would be something to be looked into.
Okay,
Thank you.
very good.
Okay. Any other comments? No, we do not. We accept the minutes. We accept the minutes as read.
Yeah, we already did
We
that.
did that. We had discussion, and now
Now we're gonna have a presentation on the discretionary tax by village engineer Chris Marsh.
Oh, gosh, reached that far? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for having me tonight. This presentation, as Lou alluded to, is for the local discretionary sales surtax fund 302. It is expenditures associated with the construction, reconstruction, or improvement of public facilities that have a life expectancy over 5 or more years. And that is your group's job is to look at these projects and make sure that they qualify. So basically, needs to last five years or longer. So the first project is Commons Park access, and what we're looking to do is purchased land to create better access to the park, non-vehicular access. This would be for bike and pedestrian access. Not only does it get you into the park, but because the park is centrally located in the village, it would allow for pedestrian cut-through access through the park. So that's another goal, is to connect the city using Commons Park. And obviously with the events like 4th of July, encourage people to use a different mode of transportation than driving there with their car. So this gets people, if we get these key lots, it gets people a lot closer to the event without having to get into their car. Next project is right here on this campus. It'll be for the reconstruction of Village Hall. The current project is basically to build a new Village Hall on this site and then demo the existing building after it's built, which allows obviously staff to stay in the building and those services run out of the existing building, build a new building, and then transition over to a new building that will also act as our EOC. Right now, we have to move village facilities over to the David B. Farber Training Center during an event, which is a small building, and it's difficult to house staff, and not only we have to shut down village services in order to make that transition, so that'll be another advantage of the new building. This next project is for Robner Park. Existing pathways need to be resurfaced. We did identify some ADA issues on the existing pathway, so those will be fixed. We're looking to add a kayak launch at the park that would also double for a launch pad for the aquatic weed vegetation removal equipment. So, next project is all access playgrounds at Royal Palm Beach Commons. We have applied for grants, and we applied for more grants in this next cycle, so we're hoping to get some grants to assist us with the funding for this project. And this would be adding playground facilities to the existing two playgrounds that are out there today. So we'd be expanding those sites to create an all-access type playground. The next project is the expansion of the rec center. We'll be adding a new gym to it, some new offices, new restrooms, and a kitchen, right? Next project is our road resurfacing program. These slides are showing that the roadways that will be resurfaced in 2022. And in this project, we actually secured a $500,000 grant from the state to dredge the canal system. That'll improve the water quality in the system, help with the oxygen levels, and also reduce the amount of chemicals that we need to put in to treat aquatic vegetation. And the last couple slides are either smaller projects or projects that had been previously part of the 5-year capital budget. So if you have any questions on those, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Question number 1. A gymnasium?
Yes.
This is going to be a new gymnasium?
Yes.
Will it be free?
Yes.
Yeah, it's an addition to the rec center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hot here during the summer, so having air-conditioned space, recreation space, is a plus. So this will give Lou the opportunity to have more programs out of that facility.
Would you be considering, we have more gym space, maybe bringing in more pickleball possibly? Is that something that's being considered?
Well, the issue right now is we can't house the programs that we have. We're right now, we're using Crestwood Middle School gymnasium to help offset the space that we need for our programs.
Uh-huh.
So this secondary gym, yes, I mean, it's gonna expand it so we can have more programs.
Okay.
We don't have to use Crestwood. And Pickleball, I mean, is becoming very, very popular, and yes, it'll give us the opportunity to expand there
Good.
too. Yeah.
Did you ever consider doing like a separate, still being a part of the rec center, but a separate building for seniors and all their programs?
We haven't, you know, we really haven't come up to a design yet. We're not at that stage. But the whole idea is to have a wing separate for the seniors. You'll have your own kitchen, you'll have the restrooms, you'll have meeting rooms. And then, you know, like right now where the lobby is and everything, that'll be centralized where people will come in. And then going off to the north side or to your left when you walk in, there'll be a separate wing for the seniors.
That's great.
Yeah. That's the whole idea. And that's why this all came up, is because we decided to keep the seniors at the rec center. So this will work.
Any other discussion?
It's not.
Seeing done?
All right, well, thank you.
We accept the what did I say here?
Have a great evening.
You have nothing more to say, okay, thank you. We vote to accept the stuff as read, or this is done.
Yeah, and I should preface, you know, before
You leave.
Chris came up, is, you know, as you recall, last year we went through the same process, okay? You know, back in November of 2016 is when the county came with this 1 cent sales tax, you know,
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
the village council appointed this committee to oversee the expenditures. That's why Chris comes over here, he gives us an update on what we're doing to make sure that we're following the proper requirements of the resolution. Okay?
Thank you. Okay,
We have a motion to accept the,
motion to accept the village engineer, Chris Marsh,
A motion?
to
A
accept.
second.
All right. All in favor? That's when we say that, aye?
Aye.
Okay, good. Next on the agenda, capital projects.
okay, what you have in front of you is what we do every year. We go through the projects that are coming up, the projects that we've completed over the past year. And I listed them out there, and I'll very quickly, you know, the Veterans Park lighting, if you noticed, all the uplighting has been replaced and upgraded to LEDs. Bob Marcello Sports lighting upgrade, fields 2 and 3 are going to be redone. It's been designed, and it'll be going out for bid. That's for two of the fields. And that is also, that's part of that discretionary tax fund. Robner Park resurfacing, the engineer brought up, that was going to be done this past year. We moved it back to next year, and at the same time doing the kayak launch. And we're also going to redesign and put up new fencing at the dog park. The next project, PR 1813, Veterans Park painting and sealing. If you notice, you go to Veterans Park, all that natural wood that was there has been pressure cleaned and stained and sealed to preserve it. And all the buildings have been repainted, and you'll notice it's no longer white and green, now it's like a white and maroon, similar to what the color scheme we have at Commons. PR 1819 Sporting Center renovations. What we did there is on the 3rd floor, we had those plastic roll-ups on the perimeter so that you can open it up and get the air flowing through totally. Those didn't last very long, so what we've done is we've replaced those. We've replaced them with all glass, and there's 3 sections on each side that'll actually have sliding glass windows with screening, so you can shut down the air conditioning and have a cross breeze. It's a huge improvement on what we have there. We've also gone in the middle of that third floor and removed all the glass doors, so now it's one big open area, and you very easily get, 150 people in there. So that's also an improvement. PR 1903, which is Commons Park lighting. We have a grant in the process, in the funnel up at Tallahassee for $200,000 to help us offset the Commons lighting, which is the grass parking that we have on both sides of the sporting center. We'll be adding permanent parking lighting in there. And also the pathway. You've got about 3 miles of walking path that goes throughout the park. We'll be putting in lighting there, the lighting bollards, similar to what we have at Veterans. So you can actually walk it when it's dark and be able to see the pathway. 1906 dumpster enclosures. Basically what that is this is more of a maintenance issue. 3 parks: Camellia Park, Bob Marcello, and Cat Soccer Fields. The Cat Soccer Field, actually, the whole dumpster enclosure has been gone. It was a wood fence, and that's how the other parks are. We're removing the wood fence, and it'll be concrete block. All right. 1909, the all-access playground, which the engineer brought up, which is one of the projects in that 302 account, the sales tax. When we say all access, that's anybody who's in a wheelchair will have everything will be accessible to them. And not only, I think engineering's in for a $500,000 grant, and I have one in for $200,000. And we're looking, this is gonna cost close to $1 million to do.
What's the timeframe for that project?
Pardon?
What's the timeframe for that project?
That's this coming year, we're
This
gonna
coming year.
design, and once we get the grants, we'll start installing it. PR 1913, the skate park fence replacement, that was scheduled for this past year, didn't get to it. What that is the wood walls that are around the skate park right now, because it was a hockey rink at one time. That's gonna come down, and we're gonna put up 6-foot chain link fence. PR, it should be 1914, the security cameras. Council just approved the purchase and installation for security cameras at the recreation center, the parking lot, the soccer fields, the parking lot, Camellia Park. Those will all be done within the next 120 days. PR 1915, that's the rec center gymnasium. We've repainted that gym. It hasn't been done in about 15 years. And we had blue and white walls, now it's 3 shades of gray. 3 shades of gray.
Okay.
That's done.
Yes.
They're just cleaning it up right now.
Thank
PR
you.
1917 is Bob Marcello Picnic Pavilion. Out there, outside of Field 4, you'll notice, we had 2 playground playscapes that are next to each other. We're gonna put a 32-foot picnic pavilion there, so now people will be able to, they wanna have a party out there next to the playgrounds, they can.
Will that be something that you could also rent out?
Yes.
Or- okay.
Yep.
Will, if it's not being used, can it be used by people
Yes.
spilling out? Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Basically, the reservation process is, if you want to make sure you have it, you need to call in and reserve it.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's open.
Okay.
PR 1918, the banquet garden out at Commons Park, we replaced all those shade sails because they were worn and pretty much torn up. That's done. Pine Road shade covers, that's the dog park out at Pine Road, up near Madison Green. We've replaced those, that's completed. And then PR 2003, security cameras at Bob Marcello, Todd Robner, and Farron Parks. So basically, by the end of 2020, we'll have 6 major parks, we'll have security cameras. And just so you know, when you look at these numbers, if you ever look at the budget, you know, online, the PR is Parks and Rec. The 18 is the year, and the numbers following that is kind of like a priority that we've put on it.
Excuse me, Lou, when is the renovation of the recreation center going to start?
2001, we go into the design phase.
2001?
2001, and then, what?
21.
Oh, 21.
Okay.
21.
Oh, because I was
And then
thinking,
2022, they'll start the construction.
okay, because I was wondering if it was worth painting the gym again, if it's going to be done that, you know,
We won't have to. We won't have to. And we put in the color schemes that we're looking to do the entire building with. But it was, we couldn't wait. It was bad.
Wow.
It was bad. It needed to be done. And for what we paid to have it done, it was worth it.
it was worth. Okay.
Any questions?
Yeah, that's fine. Any questions? Any questions? Okay. Since there's no questions, we can move on to the next. The next one. Approval of the primary providers policy agreement, Director of Parks and Recreation.
This is something we do periodically. We've updated some of this, and we've added a lot, and we've made some changes. And I'm just going to go through very quickly some of the changes. And you can, take this home, look through it, so you know when we say the primary providers, that's our travel basketball provider, our baseball provider, and our youth football providers, and soccer, okay? If you look on page 4, in number 6, in the event that a meeting is canceled, the provider is responsible for submitting status updates. We still want updates whether or not they meet or not. We need to know what's going on every month. So just by canceling a meeting doesn't relieve them of that. They need to let us know. Back under communication, number 2, which this has been in existence really since the beginning, that they have one person that they delegate to communicate with the liaison at the rec center, so we don't have 4 or 5 different people calling up. We have one person, and our department has one person. They will communicate and pass it on to the need-to-know people.
So what was the change of this section then?
Pardon?
What was the change? You said that this was a change in the regulations? or
No, we're
no?
just highlighting it that they talk to our liaison. On page 5, all the way down under recreation programs, number 2, it's a responsibility to recognize primary provider to ensure priority field use is given to the recreational program. So we have priorities in our policies and procedures, and the rec programs that we run is the number 1 priority. Then our primary providers, then our adult programs, our school programs, and, people who rent it, but it works its way down. The recreation programs are the top priority, not the travel programs. On page 6, number 4, basically we're just letting them know what the dates their main season is for travel. Like baseball and softball is February through May for the spring, and the fall is September through November. Soccer, spring, February through May, and the fall, September through November. Contact football and flag football is February through May, and August through October. That's just to give them the dates so they know when to schedule their activities. The next item is just the signage. We want them to know what we expect. We expect them to take down any banners or anything at the end of the season and not leave them up. On the selection of coaches and officials, there's a couple changes. As you know, concussion is a big issue today. So you'll see all provider groups must conduct annual criminal background checks on all coaches, assistant coaches, board members, officials, referees, etc. In the back of the policies and procedures, we have the Westlaw, which is basically telling you what the procedures are. In attachment F, you'll see we'll go through that very quickly. Just show it to you, how they sign off that the president or the commissioner, whoever they determine needs to be the sign off on the documentation, is that they did go through protocol on concussions. They did do their background checks. We want to make sure that we have that all documented. Number 4, all coaches must complete the free concussion training program through the National Alliance of Youth Sports. Again, they have to sign off that all their coaches have gone through this training, this proper training.
Will they get like a certificate
Yes.
that they are
Yeah.
trained?
On page 7, fees and charges, number 5. We've had issues where we have a sound system or a security system, or we have equipment that are in the buildings, and whether it's misuse or just not taking care of things. Sometimes on the concessions, the doors, which the roll-up doors, they get in, they don't raise them properly or lower them properly, and then we have to bring somebody out to replace the mechanical device or repair it. We're not going to take on that added expense anymore. It's going to be the user's responsibility. That goes the same thing for the controllers for the scoreboards. Again, they're responsible for those. They're the ones that are using it. So we're going to hold them responsible. Under the travel and competitive teams, again, I'm not going to go through that, but it gives you the dates that the travel teams can go and what their fees are to the village. And basically, 50% is what we're looking for as far as residents. Go to page 9, very minor, under camps, clinics, and tournaments. That first paragraph, the last sentence, application will then be submitted to the village's technical site review. It's just a change of the name. What that is, it's a group of staff people that go through the application for a special event and just make sure everything is in line. You know, you have somebody from the sheriff's department is on that board, the fire department, building official, you know, somebody from our department, just to make sure that everything is in line and everybody's aware of what's happening. On page 16, attachment A, this is basically a schedule of when they have to have certain documentation to us. You know, before it was, you know, turn them in when you have them. We find it's best to give them a schedule. This is when we need it. This is when we have to have everything in our hands. And same thing with game schedules. Not wait until the night before and tell us you got games. They have to give us a schedule at least 10 days prior to. And making sure all their insurance certificates are up to date. I mentioned attachment F. That's on page 23 is when it starts, and I'm not going to go through it all. This is basically verification of everything, okay? The different forms they have to sign and turn in making sure that, you know, any training, who's ever taken the training, that they're listed there, we're taking their word for it. They're signing this affidavit telling us that they've gone through the training. Because we're not going to be responsible for having all these certificates and all that documentation in our files. But if at any time we ask for them, they have to be able to present them. Or if there's an issue, if something comes up, they need to make sure that they got that documentation.
We've
Okay.
had the same providers for a long time, right?
Yes.
For most
Yeah.
sports? Okay.
So they're aware of
There's
it.
never been an issue with any of this
No,
before?
no.
Okay.
But again, we're just making it taking it one step further. Pretty much that's it. Like I said, you can read through it in your leisure. At least you have it in front of you. If anybody approaches you about anything, you've got it. It's a policy. Okay? Any questions?
Any questions? Okay. No questions here.
No.
Okay?
Okay. Motion to accept all this information.
A motion?
Okay.
Second?
Second.
Second?
Sandy? Any more discussion?
No more discussion.
We have a lot on our plate.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The next item is, I'm looking for approval for reappointing our primary providers for the various sports. The Youth Baseball Association of Royal Palm Beach, Inc. They'll be our provider for baseball. Palms West Athletic Association, Inc. for youth football. Royal Palm Beach Stars for youth travel basketball. He did change their name. It used to be Savans Academy. He's changed his name, and he's done it through the state, so it's all legal.
Legal.
But it's now Royal Palm Beach Stars. And then the Royal Palm Beach Strikers, Inc., which is for the youth soccer program. So other than the name change of basketball, the rest of them are all the same, and we're just renewing their existence. more or
How
less.
long, a year?
This is gonna be, it'll go into a resolution, and it'll be automatically renewed annually. And then, if there is an issue, we can stop it, or if they have an issue and need to drop out, they can do it. They have the same opportunity. So instead of just renewing it every year, we're just gonna carry it through and automatically unless there's an issue. Okay?
Yeah, I don't know, but I know the office, I don't know if this has anything to do with what we're talking about, but are there gonna be new people in the rec center now that there is changes? New people for sports?
Yeah, that's, yes. We have made a few adjustments in our personnel. Brandon, who's down in the sporting center right now and was doing the major events and renting that facility, he's gonna be coming up to the rec center and doing athletics. Steve Pointer, who did athletics, is gonna be doing the summer camp and the spring camps, along with all our contractors. Cheryl, Sawyer, who was doing the camps, is going to take over the senior programs. And Janine, who did the senior programs, is now at the cultural center, renting that facility and doing the events over at Veterans Park. So we have one vacancy that we're interviewing now for the events and the rental of the sporting center. We're interviewing that now. Okay?
Motion to approve all of what we've heard.
This is the approval for the providers.
I motion to approve.
I'll
Second?
second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Unanimous.
Alrighty.
Okay, next item.
This is it?
No, you got one more item.
One more. Yeah, Michael.
Programs and
Oh,
community
okay.
update.
Okay, come on up.
Been waiting all night.
I don't want to leave you out, man.
Don't leave me out. Leave my best nose out.
Sorry about that. Okay, Michael.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
I am Mike Mikolajczyk, Assistant Parks and Recreation Director. Handing out a packet here with some of our programming, and actually the front page will actually give you a full breakdown of our community events for the entire fiscal year, which I think is good for you guys to have. I'm going to talk tonight a little bit about our programming and events. I'm going to limit it to October because we are very busy, and if I go beyond that, we'll be here all night. So again, that's why I gave you some of the handouts so you can go through the flyers. But before I talk about our programming and events, I just wanted to update you on some of the improvements that we've made to the recreation center, and we've been working on it for the past couple months. We had a very successful early childhood program for ages 3 to 5, and that program is structured for children to get an opportunity to have a classroom setting before they go to VPK. So a lot of the stay-at-home moms it's a drop-off program. They would drop their children off with a certified teacher, and they would get that classroom experience. And it's 2 hours a day for a couple days a week, and just very successful, full capacity all the time. We found out after several years of success that the health department actually requires you to be a child care licensed facility to run those types of programs. So we had to do some renovations to our north wing at the recreation center. We added a fire-rated door, which actually separates the facility from the north wing where the child care facility is going to be. We added, as I said, the door with a magnetic card reader to get in and out. Additional smoke alarms were required, door alarm sensors, and an outdoor play area on the back of the building. So we are actually planning on submitting to the health department here within the next month or two. Hopefully we can get back up and running in November or December because it's been about a year and a half since we've been able to run that. So hopefully that goes well. And then Lou mentioned the gymnasium painting. That's something that definitely was in dire need. And if you walk in now, you'll see a huge difference. Definitely needed a facelift. It feels a lot brighter, a lot bigger. So that's hopefully an area we don't have to touch when we renovate. So as for the program, youth and adult, we started our adult flag football league last Wednesday at Seminole Palms Park. We have 7 teams registered, about 100 participants in that program. Our early childhood sport programs at the Recreation Center for ages 2 to 5, Little Sluggers Baseball, Soccer Tots, and Little Hoopsters, have about 50 participants this fall. And these programs, they teach, the basics of the sport, at a young age. And it's indoor, so it's very controlled. Our La Petita Dance Academy, another very successful program for ages 2 to 13, ballet, tap, and jazz, that has over 50 participants as well. Registration is now open for our Sunday Adult Basketball League. We have anywhere from 10 to 12 teams every year for that. That begins in October, and our youth basketball program for ages K through 8th, that will begin in November, but we're taking registrations currently. As for the seniors, Young at Heart Club is set for another big year. Welcome our president, Sandy Rubin. And if Phyllis was here, I wanted to thank her for the job that she did. She's very much part of the Young at Heart. I know she'll continue to be. She's just done a phenomenal job. So looking forward to working with Sandy to the continued success of the Young at Heart Club. We just opened membership early September, and we already have 250 members. Actually, it's probably more than that because that was a check last Thursday, I believe. So last year we had about 395 members, so we're hoping to surpass that number. Our first Young at Heart luncheon is Friday, October 4th at the Cultural Center. That's a Pirates and Wenches is the theme, and that's with a 50s show in Italian cuisine. We have 178 members registered for that luncheon as well. Following that luncheon, the Young at Heart has a social, a jukebox bingo on October 23rd from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Recreation Center. You might be asking, what is jukebox bingo? Because I asked that question as well to Janine. So they actually play different eras of music, and participants will try to identify that music on their bingo board. From what I understand, I'm going to have to check in this time, but they get very much into it, singing along, and so it sounds great. October 30th, the Young at Heart Club will travel to the Maltz Theater to see Dracula, followed by a dinner at Waterway Cafe, and we have about 40 people registered for that trip. In addition to the Young at Heart Club, some of our other senior programs we have going on are senior technology workshops, which are held on the first Tuesday of each month at the Recreation Center from 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. The event is actually sponsored, so it's free to seniors. And seniors will learn better ways to utilize their smartphones, tablets, and applications in those workshops. In addition, we have senior lunch and learns the second Tuesday of each month. Those are going to actually be held at the Cultural Center from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. There will be speakers on various topics such as health and well-being, nutrition, and mental health, and lunch is provided there as well. We've been working for several months on getting a meal site breakfast program to the Recreation Center. We already have a lunch program. So starting Monday, October 7th, we will be a meal site breakfast program facility at the Recreation Center. That's a program that's put on by the county, and it's free to seniors. To be eligible, you just need to complete a mandatory form at the Recreation Center. So the plan is to, again, have the breakfast, have some activities in between, and then also have the lunch. Lastly, we have a Halloween party for seniors on October 31st at the Recreation Center. That's from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. It costs us $3, and lunch is provided. And you'll see everybody dressed up for that one. I can guarantee you that. Okay, moving on to the events. Our next scheduled event is Friday, October 11th, and that's the Gourmet and Food Truck Expo. It's a movie night at Commons Park. We're showing the Halloween movie Hocus Pocus, and that will begin at 7:30 p.m. So that'll be right out on the Great Lawn at Commons Park. We have a new home and day for our Green Market and Bazaar. The market is set to begin on Saturday, October 19th at Village Hall. From 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Those are going to be held on Saturdays now instead of the Sundays at Veterans Park. We believe that there's more visibility out there at Village Hall. It's right in the corner of Royal Palm Beach Boulevard and Okeechobee, and we think Saturdays will be a better day. Church isn't involved on Sundays, so we think that we're going to get a better response there. It's also better for vendors. Ease of access to get in and out and drop off. Veterans Park, there was a struggle with logistics when it came to that. All right. So the big one is October 25th and 26th. We're going to host our first ever Rock and Fall Festival. So we've done Rocktoberfest, we've done Fall Festival. Now we're doing the Rock and Fall Festival. We're incorporating the same elements as we've had in the past, but the main difference is Friday night is going to be more of a Rocktoberfest, and that's going to be geared towards adult with live rock entertainment, Aerosmith tribute band, Queen tribute band, a variety of craft and domestic beers, craft vendors, the gourmet food truck expo will be there, an adult costume contest. So, you're going to get the variety of beer and that just great entertainment from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. That's Friday night, the 25th. The 26th, we're gonna turn it over and we're gonna have the Fall Festival. That's gonna be more of a family-oriented Fall Festival event. It'll be Halloween themed, free kids fun zone, a pumpkin patch, a petting zoo, an arts and craft area, pumpkin carving contest, trunk or treating, costume contest, hay rides, train rides, craft vendors, and live entertainment from the Spasmatics who have been out there before. So we're thinking this is going to be the one. This is, we've changed it around a few times, but we think we're going to get a good turnout for this one. With all of that going on, we also have first ever haunted house presented at Commons Park by Catskills Haunts. This haunted house will be $10 to enter. It'll be held at the park from October 25th through October 30th, from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. It's a 3,000 square foot haunted house. It takes about 20 minutes to get through. It has live actors, animatronics, sound effects, strobe lighting. This company, it's not their first time around. They're from up north. They live in Loxahatchee now. And so we think this could be a big thing, and we're hoping to have a long-term, partnership with them. So it's something new, but we, again, think this could be a hit.
Is that house on a trailer or something? How do they bring that in?
Part of it.
Yeah.
Part of it is the trailer.
And then they build the,
Open it up and,
yeah, they build out off of the, trailer.
Where will they be set up at Commons Park?
Yeah,
right?
the east lot, so just beyond the splash pad, that grass lot, there's a nice big spooky tree out there, so that's gonna be the backdrop. So it's, we think this could be good.
Did we have a haunted house last year, or?
We did a haunted walking tour, which was all kind of outdoor. This is actually built so you can actually walk through it inside as a haunted house. Yeah. Yep.
very high tech.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then lastly, as far as events in October 29th, the Royal Palm Beach Community Band will perform their annual Spooktacular concert at the Cultural Center. That event begins at 7 p.m., offers free refreshments and great entertainment, free to the public as well. That takes us into November, and as I mentioned, you have some flyers there. I did include the Young at Heart newsletter, and that has actually a lot of our senior programming as well with the Young at Heart Club, so you can get a good feel of what's going on. That's it, though. But again, that's just October, so it's very, very, and I didn't even mention all of the programs. It's busy. We're very busy.
You have to be a senior to be part of these events. There's too many fun things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we need an alcohol license to serve the beer and alcohol?
Yes.
So we do have no problem there.
We put in an application just like anybody else would to have alcohol. So, yep.
We have to go through the same process as the public. If anybody wants to put on an event, we go through the same process, same review process, same permits. Yeah.
Two things real quick.
Yep.
The senior breakfast program that you guys are going to have at the rec center, can you tell me more about that? When is that going to start?
That's going to be October 7th.
Okay.
It's through Dolly Hughes, right?
Yeah.
Forever? Like, how long are we going to have
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. We've had.
Had something like that during the summer, right?
Yeah, the lunch program we've had. We had it in the summer. That was for the summer camps, right?
Okay.
But this is something that we want long term. We're going to have long term. Yeah.
Now, how are the seniors going to work this? They're going to have to call the transportation again for the night before to come for the morning for breakfast and.
Same process that they
Same
get
process.
transportation now. They'll just have to get picked up earlier if they want to come
Do
for
they
the
run that
breakfast
early?
program. Yeah. This is just an added benefit that's given to us from the county.
And like I said, if they stick around, if seniors stick around and we have activities and like that, and they want to stay for lunch, I mean that's
Be a madhouse.
yeah. Busy.
And it's a what do you call them? Continental breakfast.
Right.
It's not.
Not a full breakfast. Well,
And yet-
anybody have parents they want to send for breakfast and lunch?
You had one more?
The other question was about the market. You're moving that to Village Hall,
Right.
inside Village Hall?
No.
Nope. Just be,
Parking lot?
it's actually just beyond out here. There's a walkway along here that kind of wraps around here.
Okay.
So it'll just be just out there. Bathrooms will be used here, but
Correct.
And
In
there
the
will still be
parking
no
lot.
parking?
You just use the parking
Use,
lot.
Yeah.
use the parking.
yeah.
And like Mike was saying, it was, logistically, it was tough, especially for the vendors, to drop their stuff off and pick up their stuff. They couldn't park there because we wanted that for the patrons. This, I mean, they'll actually be able to park right next to their booth. And we'll be able to take a lot more, vendors.
Yeah.
And the visibility is gonna be.
Right, yeah, you'll see, people will see it, you know, go,
Because the green market was slowly dying. Yeah. Yeah. Wellington actually ceased having their green market.
that'd be too bad.
So now one in the area, hopefully it
Yeah.
Picks up.
Pick up.
Yeah, otherwise Clematis Street has the big room.
huge one. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Now,
If I
And-
can just point something
Sure.
out, you know, and like Mike said, he wasn't going through all the
everything.
events, but just want to point out that when you look at this list, Veterans Day, you're gonna see is at 9 a.m. You know, in the past, we've had it in the evening. It's actually gonna be a breakfast at the Cultural Center for veterans and their families. We're gonna give them a breakfast. Okay?
Very nice.
And that'll be put on by the American Legion.
Any more, do I hear any more questions?
Nope.
Okay, all's done. Well, can we vote to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion.
I'll second.
Meeting is adjourned.